Most retirees don't overspend abroad because they're careless. They overspend because they bring a single country budget into a multi-country life. A country swap lifestyle, where you rotate between 2 or 3 places across the year to match seasons, healthcare needs, and cost of living, can be unbelievably efficient, but only if the budget is designed for movement, not permanence. In this video, the goal is to give a framework that feels simple in your head and also works in real life, when exchange rates shift, flight prices jump, and a landlord suddenly wants a bigger deposit. Stay to the end because the final section ties everything together into a practical country swap calendar and a one-page set of numbers that can tell you, in under 5 minutes, whether a swap is financially safe or quietly risky. And if this kind of practical retirement abroad planning is useful, subscribe to TravelChoir. This channel is built for Canadians, Americans, and beyond who want more freedom without financial surprises. The real budget problem. Fixed costs follow you. The first mindset shift is accepting that cheaper countries don't automatically create a cheaper life. A lot of costs are sticky. They follow you across borders because they're not tied to your zip code, they're tied to your habits, your medical reality, and your comfort thresholds. If the budget assumes the destination will magically lower everything, it will fail the first time you have to rebook a flight, pay for a clinic visit, or upgrade housing because the first place is too noisy to sleep. So the framework starts by separating costs into 2 worlds. There is the life you carry with you, which includes things like ongoing subscriptions, essential medications, device upgrades, health coverage, and the way you travel. Then there is the location layer, which includes rent, utilities, local transportation, and day-to-day prices. Country swaps work best when you minimize the costs you carry and choose locations where the location layer is predictable. The entire rest of this video is built on that simple separation because it prevents the most common retiree budgeting mistake: underestimating the cost of comfort and stability. The 4-number baseline that makes swaps work. A budget that survives multiple countries needs a baseline that is simple enough to remember and strict enough to protect you. The cleanest approach is a 4-number baseline: a monthly floor, a monthly target, a monthly stretch, and a shock fund. The floor is what it costs to live safely and calmly, even if the month goes sideways. The target is what you expect most months to cost. The stretch is what you allow in a high-cost month, like a relocation month or a month with a family visit. The shock fund is not a category inside the monthly budget. It is a separate pool for the events that should not destroy the plan, like a last-minute flight home, an emergency dental situation, or an extended hotel stay during a housing gap. Here's why this keeps retirees watching their budget without feeling trapped. A country swap plan isn't one average month repeated 12 times. It's a rhythm, with low months and high months. Your job is to design the rhythm so the low months refill what the high months drain. In a few minutes, you'll see how to place swaps on a calendar so the rhythm becomes your advantage instead of your surprise. The country swap model: design a year, not a month. Country swaps are easiest when they have a home-base logic. That doesn't mean owning property, it means having one country or region that acts as the stabilizer. It's the place where routines are easiest, where healthcare feels straightforward, where you know how to fix problems fast, and where you can stay longer if plans change. Then you add a second or third location that acts like a seasonal upgrade, either because it's cheaper at certain times of year, it's cooler or warmer when you want it, or it offers a lifestyle benefit that justifies the move. The budgeting error is treating each swap as an isolated decision. The correct approach is treating the year as a portfolio. You might choose one high-comfort season where you spend more because you want the best weather and the most walkable neighborhood, then balance it with one value season where housing and day-to-day costs are lower. That value season isn't a downgrade. It's the part of the year that quietly funds the flexibility you want in the high comfort season. The most powerful move is to budget the swaps as their own category, the same way you would budget insurance. Each swap has a predictable cost structure: travel day expenses, a temporary lodging buffer, deposits, setup costs like SIMs or transit cards, and the inevitable first-week premium when you haven't found your cheapest routines yet. When you name those costs up front, swaps stop feeling like budget failures and start feeling like planned investments. The true cost map: housing, health, transport, visas, and tax drag. If there is one section to rewatch, it's this one, because most retirement budgets abroad fail in the same handful of categories. Housing is the headline, but housing is not just rent. It's the entire cost of staying put. That includes deposits, fees, utilities, internet quality, noise risk, walkability, and whether you end up spending more because the location forces you into taxis or constant dining out. A place that is cheap but inconvenient often becomes expensive through friction. Next is healthcare, and retirees should budget it like an infrastructure cost, not a surprise. Even when you are healthy, you need coverage, access, and a plan for the day you need help quickly. Your budget should include not only monthly coverage, but also the predictable out-of-pocket pattern, like checkups, labs, prescriptions, and the reality that you may occasionally choose the more expensive private option for speed and clarity. For Canadians and Americans, this category is not optional. It is the category that keeps the entire lifestyle stable. Transportation is where country swaps quietly win or lose. A swap lifestyle can lower costs if it reduces car dependence and replaces it with walkability and predictable transit. It can also explode costs if it relies on frequent flights, last-minute rebooking, or long-distance taxis. The fix is to decide the travel style first. If the plan is slow travel, the budget must discourage unnecessary move days. If the plan is seasonal swaps, the budget must assume at least one expensive travel month, and then design cheaper months around it. Visas and residency rules add another layer, because they don't just change paperwork, they change how long you can stay, how often you must move, and what counts as too many days in one place. Even if you are not optimizing taxes, there is still tax drag, banking fees, ATM fees, currency conversion spreads, and the occasional penalty for not understanding a local rule. A strong framework treats this as a known cost of international living and budgets it calmly rather than pretending it won't happen. If you want a free country swap budget planner that turns these categories into a one-page monthly baseline and a simple swap cost checklist, it's available via the resources linked in the description. It's designed specifically for retirees who want clarity without building a giant spreadsheet. Currency risk and price spikes. Build a safety margin that feels real. Country swaps introduce a powerful advantage. You can move when a place becomes too expensive for the experience it delivers. But swaps also expose you to currency shifts and seasonal pricing. The framework needs a safety margin that is realistic, not imaginary. A simple rule is to build your floor number using conservative exchange rates, not today's best-case rate, and to assume that certain categories, like short-term housing and flights, will sometimes spike. The trick is not to predict the market. The trick is to build a buffer that makes prediction unnecessary. That buffer can be designed as a percentage margin inside your monthly baseline, plus an explicit relocation buffer for swap months. When retirees run into trouble, it's often because they planned the year as if every month would be average. But in a swap life, the average is not a real month you will live. Real months are either move months, settle months, or routine months. Each has a different cost shape, and your budget should reflect that. One more retirement-specific point. Comfort creep is real. The longer you live abroad, the more you learn what you truly need to feel at home. That's not failure. That's adaptation. The budget works when it expects that adaptation and funds it intentionally instead of forcing you to pretend you can live forever like you're on a short vacation. The system that prevents slow leaks. Weekly check, monthly close. A country swap budget is not a one-time worksheet. It's a small system. The best system is boring and fast. Once a week, you do a 5-minute check to confirm that spending is tracking near the target number and that nothing is quietly escalating. Once a month, you do a close, where you label what changed, what was a one-off, and what is now part of the real lifestyle. This is where retirees win, because you don't need complex tools to be consistent. What you need is a habit that catches leaks early. The most common leaks are dining out that replaces cooking during the first 2 weeks in a new location, transportation upgrades because the neighborhood isn't working, and housing add-ons like better internet or more space. When you see those leaks early, you can adjust the next month or adjust the next swap, instead of letting the leaks become your new normal. And this is why the end of the video matters. The calendar method you're about to hear makes the weekly check feel easy, because you'll know what kind of month you're in and what normal should look like for that month. The country swap calendar, the most practical way to plan the year. Here's the method that makes swaps feel controllable. Build the year on a calendar first, then assign budgets second. Start by choosing your stabilizer location, the place you can stay longer if something goes wrong. Place it on the calendar during the months when you want maximum routine and minimal friction. Then place your high comfort season, the time when you're willing to pay more for weather, walkability, or a specific lifestyle. Finally, place your value season, the time designed to lower overall costs and rebuild financial slack. Once the calendar is placed, tag each month as a move month, a settled month, or a routine month. Move months get the relocation buffer. Settled months get a smaller buffer because you're still optimizing. Routine months are where you protect the floor and let the value season do its job. When you do it this way, you stop asking, "Can I afford this country?" And you start asking, "Can this country play the role I need it to play in my year?" If you want the full set of retiree travel tools that pair with this framework, including the printable budget planner, a swap month checklist, and trusted resources for essentials like travel medical coverage, staying connected, and reliable transfers, those links are in the description. Using them is a simple way to support the channel while getting practical tools that match the system you just learned. To wrap this all up, a country swap retirement can be one of the smartest ways to protect lifestyle and lower stress, but only if the budget is designed for movement. Separate what you carry from what the location provides. Use a 4-number baseline that survives real months, not imaginary averages. Budget swaps as planned events, not accidents. Then build a calendar that makes the rhythm work in your favor. If you want more retirement abroad systems like this, health coverage planning, fine print breakdowns, and the real logistics that make the lifestyle feel easy, subscribe to TravelChoir and check the resources linked in the description. And if you'd like, re-watch the calendar section and pause on the moment where you tag months as move, settle, and routine, because that single step is where most people go from dreaming to actually having a plan.